chapter 32. So these three men ceased to answer Job, because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then was kindled the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Butzi, of the family of Ram, against Job was his wrath kindled, because he justified himself rather than God. Also against his three friends was his wrath kindled, because they had found no answer, and yet had condemned Job. Now Elihu had waited to speak unto Job, because they were older than he. And when Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these three men, his wrath was kindled. And Elihu, the son of Barachel the Butzi, answered and said, I am young, and you are very old. Wherefore I held back, and durst not declare you mine opinion. I said, days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. But it is a spirit in man, and the breath of the Almighty, that giveth them understanding. It is not the great that are wise, nor the aged that discern judgment. Therefore I say, hearken to me, I also will declare mine opinion. Behold, I waited for your words, I listened for your reasons, whilst you searched out what to say. Yes, I attended unto you, and behold, there was none that convinced Job, or that answered his words among you. Beware lest you say, we have found wisdom. God may vanquish him, not man. For he hath not directed his words against me, neither will I answer him with your speeches. They are amazed, they answer no more, words are departed from them. And shall I wait because they speak not, because they stand still and answer no more? I also will answer my part, I also will declare mine opinion. For I am full of words, and the spirit within me constraineth me. Behold, my inwards are as wine which hath no vent, like new wineskins which are ready to burst. I will speak, that I may find relief. I will open my lips and answer. Let me not, I pray you, respect any man's person, neither will I give flattering titles unto any man. For I know not to give flattering titles, else would my Maker soon take me away. All right, we'll go back up in verse 1. Job had finished speaking yesterday, and now Elihu, this fourth one who was sitting there with Job's friends. He had three friends sitting there. Now there is the fourth one, Elihu. I have said he's been sitting there a while. He's been listening. But Job had finished what he had to say yesterday, almost. He will respond twice more. He says, God sees my ways, and God knows how I'm going. He hasn't stumbled from the law. And God knows the truth. And Job, it doesn't have to justify God, as we'll find out. This is what makes Elihu mad, that Job's not justifying God. Job has justified himself. Job has maintained his innocence throughout it all. And Job says, if I've done something wrong, let it come back upon me. Let whatever I've done return upon my head. And basically that's what Job says. And these were the end of Job's words. And we're going to pick it up here in verse 1. So these three men ceased to answer Job, because he was righteous in his own eyes. And so now these three men were Eliphaz and Bildad and Zophar. They're going to close up their mouths now and hush, because they couldn't find nothing to condemn Job. They've tried and tried, but Job's maintained his innocence, see, because he was righteous in his own eyes. He hadn't done nothing wrong that he could see. 2. Then was kindled the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Butzi, of the family of Ram. Against Job was his wrath kindled, because he justified himself rather than God. So now was kindled the wrath, or Elihu got mad. He is the son, or the one that come forth. Elihu means the mighty one himself. That's what it means, the mighty one himself. And he is the son, or the one who come forth from Barachel. Barak is to be blessed. Barachel is to be blessed by the mighty one, or blessed of the mighty one. He is the Butzi, or the Butzite. The Butzite would be the plural for the boots, and those of boots, or those that come forth from boots. And boots means those that spring forth from evil, those that come forth from evil. And he is of the family of Ram. Ram means to exalt. Ra means to be lifted up, to be exalted, and this is who he is. He is one of those that come from those that are exalted. And he is against Job, was his wrath kindled, because he justified himself rather than God. And Job is justifying himself. Job's maintaining his innocence. Job doesn't have to justify God, because God needs no justification. No, if God will justify himself, God declares justice. God doesn't need no help. He's God. 3. Also against his 3 friends was his wrath kindled, because they had found no answer, yet had condemned Job. So Elihu gets mad as well. He's mad at the other 3 too, because they couldn't find no answer for Job. They couldn't find what his reasons were, but yet they sat there and they condemned Job the whole time, accusing him, making accusations against Job. 4. Now Elihu had waited to speak unto Job, because they were older than he. So now Elihu, he has waited his turn. He's held his peace, because these other men are much older than Elihu, and he's a young man, and he will explain why he has held his peace. 5. And when Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these 3 men, his wrath was kindled. So when Elihu sees that they're just going to sit there now, that Job has answered, and they've got no more to say, because they can't find nothing against Job, he gets mad, and he even gets mad at these 3 men because of this. 6. And Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Butzi, answered and said. So now Elihu's going to speak. He is the one that come forth from those that were blessed by the Mighty One, those that spring forth from evil, and said. And the Mighty One, I call him the Mighty One, I know a lot of Elohim, the translation is generally God, but it actually means the Mighty One of the strong ones, and he is the one that's over all the other strong ones. It's God, and he's over these judgments that he sends forth in the earth. He says, I am young, and you are very old, wherefore I held back and durst not declare you mine opinion. And it was because he's just a young man, and these are old, and that's why he's held his peace. He hasn't said nothing the whole time. He's been sitting there quietly, listening to what these older gentlemen have to say. He was searching for understanding, even in their words. 7. I said, days should speak, a multitude of years teach wisdom. He said, now days should speak, these days, and he's referring to age, a period, those that have many years, many greater understandings. They should teach wisdom. They should have gained it by now. Wisdom is the ability to use the law for good in your life. Well, they should have had it by now, but we've listened to the words, and all they have is the same understanding as everybody else. They think just because a man's got a little affliction, just because a man's brought down in poverty, he's a sinner. We'll find out. That just simply is not the truth. 8. But it is the spirit in man and the breath of the Almighty that gives them understanding. But it's a spirit in man, and a spirit is that which resides within the flesh. It's the intellect, it's the understanding, it's that which gains knowledge, because the flesh itself has no understanding other than that of the flesh and the desires of the flesh. But the spirit within knows the difference between right and wrong. It has the ability to choose. And this is what gives them understanding, this spirit that gathers this, that gathers knowledge, that gathers up understanding so that it can do well. 9. It is not the great that are wise, nor the aged that discern judgment. It's not the great that are wise, and this is evident within itself. The great are those rulers, those leaders, those are the ones that have placed themselves above you or took up that position. That don't, just because they're up there, don't make them wise. And it's pretty obvious by the condition of the world today, they actually are ignorant. That just because they're aged doesn't necessarily mean that they know how to discern judgment. They may know the difference between right and wrong, but the reason they never choose right would be how their ignorance is made known. 10. Therefore I say, hearken to me, and I also will declare mine opinion. And this would be the reason, just because these men are old, they haven't shown any great wisdom, they haven't shown any understanding, and for this reason now, Elihu's going to speak. And he says, listen to me, and I will give you mine opinion as well, because up until now, that's all we've had is opinions. 11. Behold, I waited for your words, and I listened for your reasons, whilst you searched out what to say. Behold, now look and see. I've waited. I've waited for your words. I sat there and listened to your reasons, or to what you had to say, to these answers you had, to the replies you have given to Job. And whilst you searched out what to say, the whole time Job was speaking, they was sitting there. They never heard a word Job said. They've been sitting there the whole time, and while Job was talking, they was sitting there thinking of what they was going to say. They wasn't listening to what Job had to say. And this is often the case. We find that our ears are closed off by our own thoughts. We lose the ability to listen due to the fact that we're only concerned with what we have to think. 12. Yea, I attended unto you, and behold, there was none that convinced Job, or that answered his words among you. Yes, I've sat here and listened, and I've listened to everything you've had to say. But yet there was none of them that convinced Job. There was nobody who could answer Job to give him a clear explanation of what was going on, because they simply are men who only have an understanding there of the flesh. 13. Beware, lest you say, we have found wisdom, for God may vanquish him, and not man. Now beware, that's a warning. Beware is, lest you say, unless you stay in your own heart, we have found wisdom, we have found knowledge, we have found this understanding. Because see, we'll find out that often we have not. Our wisdom is that which we've conceived of on our own mind, this thing that we think makes us wise. But we'll find out God has the ability to vanquish understanding from you. God has the ability to take away your knowledge, your wisdom, your understanding. See, not man. Man doesn't have this ability. Why? Well, man doesn't have any understanding. Man doesn't have any knowledge. Man doesn't have any wisdom. We'll find out all that is within. It's all is in the Spirit. It belongs to the Spirit. See, 14. For he hath not directed his words against me, neither will I answer him with your speeches. We'll find out that Job hadn't said nothing to Elihu. His responses were to these three men that had been sitting there talking, had speaking to Job. And Elihu says, I'm not going to answer him like you have, because he hasn't directed his words towards me. 15. They are amazed. They answer no more. Words are departed from them. So Elihu says, well, they're amazed. They ain't got nothing more to say, and their words are departed from them. They're going to sit silent now, because Job's put the stopper in their mouth. 16. And shall I wait because they speak not, because they stand still and answer no more? Should I just sit here and be quiet because they ain't got nothing else to say? 17. I also will answer my part. I also will declare mine opinion. I also will answer. I'll give my opinion as well, Elihu is saying, because until now, that's all we have is opinions. That's all we have, opinion. There's no evidence. There's no proof that Job has sinned. It's just an opinion. 18. For I am full of words, and the spirit within me constraineth me. For I am full of words as well, Elihu says. And the spirit of this understanding that's within me constrains me. It holds me back. 19. Behold, my inwards are as wine which hath no vent, like new wineskins which are ready to burst. Now behold, now you can look and see, he's saying my inwards are as a wine which has no vent. And we know when wine is making, the wine makes the yeast within the wine eats the sugar. It feeds upon the sugar, and the byproduct is carbon dioxide, or CO2 gas. And this is which would raise up, and it would cause great pressure. And if the skin or the bottle doesn't have a vent, we'll find out, it would come near to the bursting point, like these new wineskins, which are ready to burst. And that's because they're swelled up from the pressures of the gas within. 20. I will speak, that I may find relief. I will open my lips and answer. But Elihu says, I'm going to speak anyway, that I can get some relief, because I got an opinion too, and I will open my lips and I will give some answer as well. And that's exactly what Elihu's going to do for the next few chapters. 21. Let me not, I pray you, respect any man's person, neither will I give flattering titles unto any man. But yet let me not speak, let me not respect any man's person, I should say. I ain't going to give put one man any higher than the other. I'm not going to give somebody a flattering title. A flattering title is something we can go by, like king, or prince, or president, or vice president, or anybody whose a title would lift them up above you. We'll find out we're all equal. There's no man greater than any man. Just because men have titles and they take up positions, these are servants. They actually are servants, and they are, because of their title, they are lowered, not raised. 22. For I know not to give flattering titles, else would my Maker soon take me away. For I know better to give these flattering titles. I know better to lift a man up higher than me, because I know my Maker would soon take me away. He would punish me for this. We'll find out. God is the one who exalts, not man. Man lifts somebody up. We'll find out it will only lead to the ruin, because that's all there is. And these that are exalted by men, they will bring to ruin. We're going to move forward. Chapter 33. Turn and return.